With OP08 coming out in English, I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you guys my deck list for Pudding in OP09. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby. This is going to be my personal list. There's lots of ways to build it, so let me know in the comments your preferred cards. What would you add? What would you remove? We're going to be doing something a little different today. At the release of this video, I'm also putting out a simultaneous video called the companion video on how to play Charlotte Pudding as a whole. It'll go over, the play style, the early, the mid, and late. So please check out both videos. All right, so we're going to go over each card, then we're going to head over to the PC for the full breakdown and show you guys the strengths and weaknesses. Make sure to like and subscribe. It's free to do so. It really helps out the channel. I upload daily deck profiles for One Piece, Dragon Ball, Super Fusion World, Union Arena, just a lot of anime games. All right, so let's talk about this current deck. So the set relevance is this is what I would play in OP09. Were there any specific OP09 upgrades? Not really. This is primarily a Big Mom deck, like 60% Big Mom and the rest like really good yellow triggers. This is a ramping deck. And it did have some upgrades with the ST20, which was the Katakuri deck, starter deck. I added like one card in there, which kind of helps it out. All right, so this will be a off meta sort of deck, a really fun one to just play. I don't think it's gonna win any sort of crazy tournaments. However, with a log on, with a little bit of weakness to Lucci without the thing, it might see some stuff. All right, so let's talk about the leader, and we'll go from there. Charlotte Pudding, OP08, 5,000 power, dual purple and yellow leader, Big Mom Pirates. When attacking, you're going to be turning 2 cards from the top of your life face up. Then you add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. This is a good and bad ability. And the good part is it's somewhat free, like a really good sort of cost, right? You're not discarding anything, you're not losing life. All you have to do is turn 2 cards face up. This is a cost, so that means you literally have to do 2 at once. You can't just have 1 down and 1 up, etc. So that's the bad part about it. It's really hard to pull it off multiple times, but there are some cards in here that'll let you do it at least twice per game, which is pretty much what you want. So other than that, it's a pretty good color, pretty good archetype. All right, so let's start from lowest to highest cost here. You're the one who should disappear from OP06, the 0 cost counter, trash 1 card, and then give somebody plus 3,000 power. Really good ability. Really staple in a lot of decks that have a lot of 0 cost counters. Then the trigger is amazing for yellow. If you have 0 life cards, meaning this is the last one to be hit, then you add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life cards. Then you trash 1 card. Now remember, this is not a cost. You just keep going down from here. So it says then trash. If you have 0 cards somehow, you still get to put 1 on top, which is really good. So we're running 2 of these right now. First off, it's going to be our Charlotte Pudding Searcher from OP03. 1-2-1. On play, look at the top 4, grab a Big Mom or a Sanji, then add it to your hand and put the rest on the bottom. So really, really good card. We have 4 of these. Next off is Charlotte Flampe, which came out in EB01. A really good card used in a lot of yellow decks that have life manipulation. 1-1-2 on play, add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand to draw 1 card. Now you might be thinking, wow, I want a lot of triggers to go off. Why would I ever use this? And basically, with some of the cards here, what's going to be on top, what's going to be on bottom, so you might want to just grab it to your hand if it's not going to do much. Or let's say, like even a crazier play, this is the second to last card. You can remove the bottom card, and this will be your last one, etc. So there are ways to make this really, really pay off. So you just got to really know your deck and go from there. Next off, it's another card we have called We're Going to Claim the One Piece. It came out in OP07. This is going to be your second searching card of the deck. 1 cost event. If your leader is Animal Kingdom or Big Mom Pirates right here, look at the top 5 and grab an Animals or Big Mom and put the rest on the bottom. A really good card, has a trigger. It's just amazing for getting everything you need to set up your future turns. All right, moving on to another character. This is Viola from EB01. This is the alternate art 201. It has innate blocker. Then on play, you get to choose one of these. Look at all of your opponent's life cards and place them back on their life in any order, or turn all of your life cards face down. So Viola works really well with Pudding, even though it's Dressrosa and Big Mom. On your turn that you can attack and you activate this, you would turn the cards face down. Then you would play this on the same turn. So your second turn that you play, you have 3 or 4 Dawn. This would be the best time to play it. Other than that, if you don't need a ramp anymore, you can play it as a blocker, then look at your opponent's life and mess with them, etc. This is a really good card for this specific deck. Probably the best one in all of the leaders right now that it has the best benefits for. Next off, we're running a Charlotte Pudding from ST07311, has an 8 blocker. On trigger, you play this. You usually will not be playing this. If you have the Viola, you'd rather play this to use the ability over Bruley. This is here as a 1k counter or here as a last ditch trigger to play this thing. With the removal of Law in the meta, there's a lot of ways that this thing could kind of stay on the field. So this got me out of a bind so many times. Just a random Bruley blocker. It's really nice. Once again, it's here as a just defense mechanism. Now, time for another Bruley. This is the ST20 card that I was talking about. So 332, it's a 2k, which is awesome. Has nothing here, but then the trigger is look at the top card of you or your opponent's life card, place it to the top or bottom, then you add this card to your hand. Once again, it's really good for your leader's ability. If you already took a hit with one of your face-up life cards and you end up getting this, you can remove that top one, put it to the bottom. You know what it's going to be. You can manipulate your life. Then you might be able to use your leader ability again, and this thing just goes to your hand. So you get the ability and it goes to your hand. Really cool card. I like it a lot. Works really well. Next off, we have another staple yellow trigger that's just really good. Don't why you would never ever want not run these, right? So Capone Gang Beige from OP04. 332, nothing here, but the trigger is up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters cannot attack during this turn. Obviously, good super late game when your opponent has multiple attackers. You can go ahead and just stop one straight out. It really helps you win out games as well. And also a 2k, a lot of 2ks in this deck. Now for your sort of mid game, we have Charlotte Katakuri from OP08, another card that works really well with this leader. 671. On play, you can turn one of your cards on the top of your life face down. Then you add up to one card for a Dawn deck and set it as active. So this, once again, it works really good with this leader. It just works out really well. Even if you don't get off the Charlotte Pudding attack again, the fact that you're ramping up from 6 or whatever, from 6 to 7, etc., you're gonna be able to get some good 9 and 10 drops out the next turn, and the turn that you get it out, you can use it as active, so you can use it for more stuff. So it's a good card overall. Next off, we have Edward Newgate from ST13. It works really good in Charlotte Pudding as well for enabling effects. 671 on play. Add the top card of your deck to your life card. So you're going to be grabbing face-up cards. Sometimes it won't be a trigger, so it'd be really good to put it back. Sometimes you might have to do it if it's a trigger to enable the effects. And after that, you look at all of your life cards. You place one on top of your deck, meaning something that doesn't have a trigger, you want to draw next turn, and then here's the important thing, you return them in any order. It's really awesome for just enabling these once again. So that's your mid game. You just want to see these 2 cards so you can set up your abilities. Now for the late game, there's a lot in here because this deck ramps up really fast. So here's a new Charlotte Linland from OP08 that's going to be really good for this. 990 on play, you -1 Dawn, which if you have 9 or 10 Dawn, really doesn't matter. Then you trash one card from your hand. There's a lot of dead cards, so not that bad either. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, so you heal. Then add up to one of your characters with 6 or less at the top or bottom of their life face up. So you are healing them, but at the same time, you are pretty much removing something. And if it's not a crazy on play, then they have to, play it again, and then it's going to be a waste of resources. But yes, it's a really interesting card. All right, next up, we have the 10 drop Big Moms. This is just so good in any Big Mom pirates, especially ones that ramp up, right? So 10, 12, 0 on play. If your leader is Big Mom Pirates, add up to 1 card on the top of your deck. You heal, then you trash one from your opponents, and they get no choice. You just destroy one and you heal one. You have a gigantic body on the board. Extremely powerful, and so powerful that it's archetype locked. Next up, the last card of the deck, it's going to be these aces. Not Big Mom, but also a really good card in general from OP07, alternate art, Portuguese D, Ace, Whitebeard Pirates, right? 10, 10, 0 on play, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life, so you heal, which is very good because you have a lot of triggers in this deck. Then if we have 2 or less life cards, which, you might have it at the time you play this character gains a rush. Well, obviously you want to play when you get the rush. If you have both these cards, you have different choices of what you want to play. I would say you almost almost always play this Lin over this ace unless you really need to just remove something on the board or go for, game. Even though, you could probably put all that Dawn on something else. All right, so let's head over to the PC view and we'll have a full deck breakdown here, the statistics, etc. If you guys are interested, link down below. This is where I build all my decks, etc. All right, so this is the these are all the events, all the 10 costs. This is the breakdown, right? So there are 12 0 cost counters, which is not, it's like decent amount. That's why we're only running 2 of these 0 cost counters. There's ways to actually trash the cards as well, using these 9 cost linens to get rid of extra ones. There are 21 cost counters. That might seem kind of low, but that's because it's messing around with 12 2K counters, which is the Flampe, the Beige, and the Brulee, which are pretty good triggers. Speaking of triggers, there's 18 total triggers, right? This is really good. This will help you search. This will help you on the board. This will help you to stop somebody. This will help you mess with your life, so it's really good. There's 8 blockers, which is awesome. The Viola and the Brulee ST17, which once again, you usually aren't going to be playing it on its own. Hopefully you get it as a trigger, but the Viola, you definitely want to play early. Then you have 8 Searchers. We're going to claim the One Piece and Puddings. All right, so the early, mid, and late game, we will talk about this in the companion video. Make sure to head on over to that where we go over in more detail how this thing works. But to give you an idea, it's a very simple game plan. This is the pros and cons, right? So it's ramping and destroying. The early game is just, finding the cards you need. Late game, you're going to get there 1 or 2 turns quicker than your opponent to throw out something big. Hopefully they can't deal with it. Another good thing with the deck is very consistent now. It's Big Moms. Your late game cards, 8 out of 12 are Big Mom Pirates. And one of your ramping cards is also a Katakuri here. And you have early 8 Searchers, which is amazing. And if you don't get to play this Pudding, at least you might get a trigger on the Searcher here. Now, the bad things is it relies on big bodies and triggers, This is a ramp deck, so there you go. If you really have nothing to do, you're not interacting with your opponent early game, every single one of these things is just to survive or to ramp up. Then your late game, you're just messing with your life and their life. Then finally, another bad thing is there's no gigantic big upgrades in OP09. We didn't see anything that would really elevate this sort of archetype deck we have here. The only thing we have from ST 17 and 20, which is the purple and yellow deck, is these Brulees, which I decided to put in because it's another searching card and it just has a really cool trigger, which helps you mess around with your life more. All right, guys, yuck. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for the deck profile breakdown. Head on over to the companion video where I show you exactly how this deck works in every single turn, early, late, different combos, cards you can remove, etc. And we're going to just test it out, and because I don't want this particular video to be too long, so that's why we're just going to have the deck breakdown and then another video showing you how to play it. Once again, this is not a perfect deck, this is just my preference, but it gives you an idea of how the Charlotte Pudding leader can be played. It's up to you whether or not you mess with the ratios, etc. Let us know down below what is your preferred cards to put in and remove. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.